Hey travelers, my name is Ash and welcome to my YouTube channel, Ash Knows Travel. Have you ever wondered why airfare feels like it's a guessing game? One day it's 300 and next it's 800. Well, in today's live, I'm going to walk you through how flight prices work, when to book, and how I can help clients save without the stress. So, we're going to be going over all things airfare today. So, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe because I do travel tips for not only travel advisors but for clients on a daily basis. And it's important that when you guys are booking your travel that you book smarter because you're spending a lot of money, right? You want to make sure it's effective. So, let's get into it. Starting right off the bat, one thing that a lot of people don't know about airfare is that there's a lot of things that go into the effect of it. All right. First of all, starting off the bat, supply and demand. If that is a high ticket flight and a lot of people are booking it, they're going to raise the price because they know it's going to sell out. So it doesn't matter what they're charging. Now, a lot of the times it is government regulated, but they can add in the taxes and fees part, the little administration, whatever, all the way at the end. Yeah, they can add those on. So that's how the price is rising. Now, another thing that's going to affect flight prices are going to be the booking windows. So if you're booking early, you're not going to you can get a good deal, but sometimes even booking a little bit later, like 1 to 3 months out, you also can get a good deal. So depending on when you're booking, it can affect the price. And then enough like weirdness on top of this is day of the week and time of the day. Who would have thought that could affect the flight price? It can. So we're going to get into that. Now, when it gets to the point of the day, the week, and the time of the day, a lot of times you're going to hear people say that Tuesday or Wednesday is the best for rates. But I'm going to tell you a little bit secret too, okay? So when it comes to browsing for flights, if you are doing it from your phone or from your computer, wherever you're doing it from, go ahead and put it in the cognito mode, private mode, depending on what device you have, private, tab, whatever. So I've learned over the 3 years that they track what you're looking at. They track how many sites are opening, right? And sometimes now, even on my Apple phone, it'll tell me, do you allow this app to track you? Yep, no, definitely not, right? So go into cognito mode and look at the price. I honestly suggest Tuesday or Wednesday is great, but you want to do it more at night. I feel like at night it's cheaper, it's less calm because why? Less people are looking at flights at night. Most people look at flights during the day. So when it comes to domestic flights, we do suggest booking at least 1 to 3 months before departure. Okay. You can book in advance with these. Most flights go up to a year out, so you can technically book in advance. But I actually use an app called Price Hopper? Flight Hopper? Wait, hold on. No, let me grab my phone. Hopper. Oh, it's just called Hopper. I use the flight section only. So they actually have a app, and it's only on the app. You can't use it on the computer. And they have a thing called Flight Watch. And when I have a client that tells me, okay, we're going to book in the future, I will do the Flight Watch so I can see if it's going to drop or not. And it will tell you it is expected to drop now or if it's going to stay the same. If it stays the same, book it, right? Then we have the international flights. You need to book those in advance. Do not try to book an international flight right when it's about to leave. You're going to spend a fortune. Definitely book at least 3 to 6+ months out. Anytime you're doing international in general, you need to do all of that in advance. You do not want to book an international trip, right away when you're about to leave because it's going to cost more. And when you're doing international trips, like booking with an advisor like me, I can put a deposit down and then make payments over time. You need to give yourself time to make payments. Okay? So, the power of package deals. Now, I'm going to tell you, whenever you're doing flights, I'm going to tell you another secret. I'm just giving out all the secrets today. So, another secret is if you're booking flights on Expedia, try to book it with the hotel. Do it as a package. Don't book the flight separately and then pay for your hotel later. especially when it comes to booking with me. Okay, with me, anytime, and this might just be my Expedia because we, for travel agents, we get paid to book through Expedia. I don't know if you guys know that. So it's just like another vendor for us. So whenever I book through Expedia, and then even in my own system that I have with other suppliers, they give us a discount for putting them together. So packages can be hotel and flight. Packages can be flight and car rental. Packages sometimes for us can be like flight activities, transfers, something like that. But for most part for you guys, it's just flight, hotel, flight, or car. So when you're putting that in there, in an Expedia, most of the time it's going to drop about 20% because it's a package. How do they do that? Okay, if you know me, you know I harp on the commission and stuff that's tacked into all of these other vendors that most clients of mine don't know about. So what they're doing is that they're raising the package. They're separating it and they raise the price. But when you bundle it, they're taking off 20% of their own fees. That's what they're doing. They're not dropping the price of the flight. The flight's not cheaper. They're taking it out of their own charges. Okay. So luckily, as a travel advisor, me, myself, and I get access to wholesale. So I don't pay prices like that. If I choose to go through a vendor and do a deposit system, because you can't do deposits on wholesale, right? You got to pay for it right up front. But on deposit systems, I can control the fees. I can control the commission. I can control all of that. So I will always be cheaper. Not worried about that. But when it comes to wholesale, it's a whole nother game for me because I don't have to pay all those silly Expedia fees, right? I can save you the money and get access to special rates because all flights are technically government regulated, but they raise in different locations and different vendors because they're adding on fees, right? So I can get it without the fees. Another thing that I also like about doing the power of a package deal, whenever you do a package deal, since we're locking in the rate with a deposit, Expedia can't do this, but I can. Since I get to lock in the rate with a small deposit, anywhere from like $250 to $500, depending on the size of your package, right? But if I can lock it in, I can go ahead and give you price protection. So even if you can't pay the whole thing like Expedia expects you to, I can do a deposit, lock in the rate, and that way it doesn't increase for you. Another great thing. And then honestly, like I said, it's cheaper. They drop the fees when you're doing a package deal. And my vendors, they don't necessarily drop the fee, but what they do is they'll give me a discount for booking it as a package. So I highly recommend if you're going to do flights, try to do them together with the hotel if you have to book the hotel. So here's the seasonal pricing trends for those who are planning the future of travel, okay? One thing I want to tell you too, a lot of people don't know this yet, but hopefully they do. As of May, you have to have the real, like the star ID in the corner in order to fly. Regardless if it's international or not, you have to have it on your ID. So make sure you have that. But when it comes to actual booking, you can see why. Let's pay attention here. January through March, it's typically lower to book the flights when you're going further out because people aren't traveling during this time, so the flights are less packed. But then people start to travel from March, June, August, and then it kind of slows back down as it goes to October. But then the holidays hit, so it goes back up to December, right? So consider that when you're booking your flights and when you plan on buying the ticket. Consider the season that you're in when it comes to travel. And then a little more insider flight booking hacks. I already told you about the private browsing. It's so serious. They track everything we do. We know that, right? And especially when it comes to travel, even if it's hotels, they track that too. So make sure that you're doing it incognito. Price alerts, get that Hopper app on your phone, set notifications for when the fare drops, and then be flexible on your dates, okay? When you're booking the flight, if you can leave like on a Wednesday and then come back like on, and honestly, Tuesday through Thursday is normally good days to fly in and out because most people book their flights and they fly in on Friday, fly out on Monday or Sunday. So those time frames are the most expensive. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday tend to be a little bit cheaper. So when you're booking your travel, if you can be flexible on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and shifting it by a day or two, you have a lot better chance of lowering the price of your travel. And then lastly, a good one, but it's a little complicated. Now, for like me, I'm in Houston, so I could book at Hobby or I can book at the International Airport. IAH is what it is. But I have those two options. So comparing them is what I would do for flight prices. I would see how much it is to fly in the Hobby. I can tell you if it's not an international airport, it tends to be a little bit cheaper than international airports, so consider that. But as well, if you have a couple airports that are not that far away from you, okay, price compare, because sometimes it might be cheaper to go to a nearby airport instead of the direct airport that's probably international that's right next to you. So lastly, honestly, I'm really good at booking flights. Why I use a travel advisor? Because I do this all the time. There's a lot that goes into a flight that people don't really think about. First of all, when you're booking, who you're booking through. That's the biggest one, right? Ironically, I used to be a person that didn't like Spirit Airlines. And I've flown Spirit Airlines and it was rough. I'm not they had a delay, and it was a medical emergency out of their reach. Okay, but it aggravated me. But it happens, right? But Spirit Airlines is the only one that I haven't had any like issues with. Like I haven't heard anything bad about Spirit Airlines, and they haven't jacked up their prices because now they can't hide fees from us, right? So Southwest used to be my favorite. As a personal travel advisor, I booked a lot of Southwest for my clients. But now, since they have added back in their baggage rates, they used to do 2 bags for free. Now they added the rates. There's no point. They lost the touch. So Spirit's not that bad, honestly. It's if you were to be luxurious about your flights, care about them, okay, Delta, right? But I mean, with the recent news of all the weird airplane stuff, I mean, it's kind of a fair free game at this point, right? So as you can see, I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to flights. I make sure I see every little error that happens because I send clients out every single day. So if you need somebody to help book your flight, I can do so. It's something that I'm used to doing. I do have access to the wholesale rates, so I will be able to get you the best flight prices possible. I can save you a lot of time because I have them all at the fingertips, so I don't spend hours searching like you would have to do. I do it in a matter of minutes. And then one thing that I also can add into it, very important about flights. Here, if you take anything, take this from me, okay? So when you're adding the flights, if they give you the option to add travel protection, make sure you read the fine print, okay? So I have the availability to add travel protection too for flights, right? I actually have a vendor company that I work with that is called Tin Lake. That's who we do protection through. And a lot of my vendors do that as well. It is great, but there's sometimes if you see it and it's like $25 and you can add it, it's not going to cover anything. And then, like, let me explain. It covers things like serious, like you were in the hospital. Okay, fine. They'll cover it. Unfortunately, you passed away. Okay, fine. They'll refund it, right? But that's all it covers. So make sure you read that fine print on travel protection. For me, I make sure it covers like the baggage. I make sure medical emergencies because you never know what can happen when you're traveling. And then also I'm trying to make sure, if we have to cancel or change it, they take out the fees. So that is kind of something that is important and why you should use a travel advisor. But if you are ready to save on your next adventure, feel free to reach out to me. You can message below and I will, contact you. You can visit my site, which is travelwithash.net. On there, just fill out an inquiry form and I can do any kind of bookings that you need because honestly, it's my passion. So don't worry about stressing about it. Don't worry about trying to plan it, especially if you're like in a group setting. Don't drive yourself crazy. Let me do the work for you. And all you do is book and enjoy. So if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ash Knows Travel. And I am your new travel expert. And welcome to my channel if this is your first time watching me. So I tend to go live 3 times a day roughly. So feel free to hop on any of those and say hi. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.